Brought to you once again by HiddenIncaTours.com. Please focus on what's called the foramen magnum, where your spinal column enters the bottom of your skull. Now, first of all, in a normal skull, there is what is called this sagittal suture in red. But it seems to be completely lacking in what we call the natural elongated skulls of Paracas. Also, the foramen magnum of a normal skull is located at the balance point near the center. And in the Paracas skulls, it's physically way to the back. That is genetic. Note here with this baby skull that the neck is at the very back. Very unusual. And we were very fortunate to have Mr. Eric von Daniken go through the DNA results recently, and he's completely fascinated. He visited our Paracas Museum and will be returning many times. Hi, this is Brian Forrester coming to you from Paracas in Peru, and this is DNA update of the Paracas number 3 in a series. I'm not sure how many there will be, probably 5 or 6 parts, but this is part 3, and this is looking at physical anomalies of the Paracas elongated skulls. And the work is in this book, which will be available at the end of the video, or the email address. And this work is was done by Dr. Michael Alday, who is an American physician, Dr. Malcolm Warren, who is an American chiropractor, and Rick Woodward, who is a physical anthropologist. Now, this is what we call cranial deformation. You can tell the volume of the skull is that of a normal human, and the forehead and the back of the skull have been flattened. So this is what cranial deformation on the coast of Peru looks like. This, on the other hand, is what we call a natural Paracas skull. You can see the volume is greater than the previous skull I showed you, and the whole shape is much more complex than simple cranial deformation. And so we think this person was born with an elongated skull. Also, as you saw in the photos before, at the beginning of the video, the foramen magnum, which is where your spinal cord column, vertebrae enter the bottom of the skull, is positioned at a place of balance, the balance point, which is an obvious evolutionary thing. But the anomaly in the Paracas elongated skulls that we believe are natural, and even some with headboarding, their foramen magnum, as you can see here, is at the back of the skull. So that is a genetic trait. You cannot change the position of the foramen magnum simply by binding a skull, because trying to do that, especially with the baby, you would wind up killing that person or that child. And so this is one of the genetic characteristics of what we call a natural elongated skull. Also, the suture lines. Here is the suture running across this way, but there is no sign of the sagittal suture whatsoever. And notice the curvature here, as if the two hemispheres are being represented, or the shaping was done by nature in order to have this dip inside of here. Also, the eye sockets are up to 50% larger than normal. And these bones in the back, these tiny bones here, are not in a normal human being. These are called Inca bones. They are found in the royal Inca people, but also clearly here in the Paracas as well. So that is another genetic characteristic, and that may in fact link the elongated skulls of Paracas, Peru, who died out 2,000 years ago, with the rise of the Inca culture. It's quite possible that the Inca and the Paracas shared ancestry. It's said in the Spanish Chronicles that the royal Inca people had reddish hair, and of course the Paracas people also had reddish hair. So that is your update for now. I will be doing at least 2 more parts. In one we'll be looking at the blood type differences between Native Americans and the Paracas, and also in another part I'll go into a more detailed description of the differences between Native American DNA, as in haplogroups, and those found in the Paracas. Thank you so much. Please watch parts 1 and 2, and stay tuned for parts 4 and 5.